Are you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan?
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
What's happening? Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, kicking things off. Got my good friend Amy Hood. She's calling in at some point here in the first segment or so. She's out on a ride this weekend up there in Winterpeg, up there at the North Pole, where it thaws out for a month or two every year. And so she's got some motorcycle rides on. She's going to chime in and call in and tell us what's up. But we do have a fun, action-packed show for you guys today. We've got Lucas Oil winner, my General Tire teammate, Jerett Brooks. He is calling into the show, one of the young guns of off-road, doing it to it in Lucas Oil Off-Road Series. He's going to be on the line. And then big, massive news coming out of motorsports this morning. Impact Racing and Mastercraft Safety have been sold to Sparco. And massive news, makes one of the biggest safety companies in the world. But we are going to have Impact CEO, or I guess former Impact CEO as of this morning, Robbie Pierce. He is going to be on the line. He's going to explain everything to us. And we're going to find out what's ahead of Impact and moving forward with this merger with Sparco. So big news coming out of motorsports today. And we've got all the details right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. So we're going to be back after this break. And, man, we've got a lot of news, lots to talk about. Hit me with those questions at JimBeaver15, and we'll be back after this commercial break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, and it does look like Amy Hood's going to join us today. What's happening, Hood?
My way to an FXR ride day. It's a pretty big event, actually. We've got people from all over Canada coming over to, ride for FXR. But I actually ride for 7MX, but my dad now works for FXR. So obviously got to come support him. And he has one of the most amazing tracks in Manitoba, too. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, who's going out, right, FXR? I mean, I know the roster of athletes FXR has. It's got to be one heck of a ride day.
Oh, yeah, I know. So I'm actually really interested to see who's all coming down. But we got all of our top Canadian pros probably going to be showing up. And I know also Shelby Turner, who's one of the top Canadian motocross champions here. She's going to be showing up, too. And so I'm interested to see. I haven't even gotten there yet, okay? That's how my morning's been. So I was supposed to be there about an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, and I know you are heading down here to this, down to, I guess, the United States here in the next week or so, right? You're gonna have a little bit of fun down here?
Yeah, I'm trying to get down there. I was hopefully going to be there for 4th of July, obviously. Got to do up Canada Day here, and then I was going to fly out on the 2nd and be there in time for 4th of July. So, I get to celebrate both nations. It's pretty sick. But, yeah, I'm going to try to head down to Florida and go see my man and, go do some riding. I know he's trying to buy a dirt bike, actually. I think I got him addicted to 2 wheels when he came to Canada. So yeah, no, I'm just enjoying my summer, having fun, riding my dirt bike. But I got a sad story for you guys. If you've been watching my social media and watching the internet, obviously I introduced Black Betty to everybody, my 03 YZ252 stroke. Amazing, super sexy bike. Love it. Well, Black Betty blew up before I even got to take it out on the motocross track.
Black Betty blew up? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And again, she never even touched the track. I took her out to Grunthal on Friday, and I started it up. And, I drove my truck out, and my dad drove his van out. So I drove the bike from my truck to my dad's van, filled her up with gas, came back, and got all geared up and went to go kick it over, and it was done. But Black Betty died right there in the parking lot. So yeah, I had to take the whole motor in and the piston in this week, and I can't even ride it for another 2 weeks. So there you go. That's what you get when you buy a box out of a bike.
Well, I was gonna say that's like these people who take a $500 car and put like a $3,000 set of rims and tires on it. Like poor old Black Betty was on his last leg, and here Hood goes and puts these fancy graphics on there and making it look all shiny, and underneath it was a turd, right?
Well, that's what you get. Like I've been very fortunate enough to get a new bike every year or every second year or whatever. But I've never really had some old Franken bike. You buy off eBay or off Facebook or whatever, and that's what this bike was. And it's just a play around bike and something to have some fun on. But you never know what you're gonna get. But it's kind of nice that it happened obviously in a parking lot and not out on a track when I'm like fifth gear taps going over a jump, because that's when problems happen. But I think some of the rings were just out of whack, But instead of just getting a new piston, obviously my dad went full bore and getting the whole motor done and going to get it all hopped up. And now Black Betty's going to be really kicking. She's going to be fast. So
knowing your dad, and it's a Franken bike, he's going to have like a 500cc two-stroke thrown in there into the 250 chassis or something. I know how your dad rolls.
Yeah, I would not put that past him. So, yeah, no, but I'm excited to get to this ride day now that you said, talking about the list of the roster of athletes FXR has. Like, it's pretty incredible. Obviously, we've had Cody Cam on air, with the snowcross scene, and Sean Moffenbauer, who's one of FXR's top riders. He's been, kicking butt and winning all the Canadian Nationals here. And, yeah, I'm just interested to see who's going to show up and if we're going to have any, snow guys come up from Minnesota. But I know last year it was huge, but this year's even bigger. We got, food trucks and all this catering and all the semis came. So, and my dad actually spent the last 3 days prepping the track, and they said in the last 30 years the track has never been as good as it is today. So I'm speeding here on the highway trying to get me and my other bike there, and in time. I'm late. What can I say? Fashionably late.
Yeah, I think you and I, at Heydays 2 years ago, I think you introduced me to the owner of FXR, maybe. I don't know. Would that make any sense?
Yeah, and in Vegas. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Super good dude. I can't remember. We had a few drinks in ourselves. So
yeah, no, Milt's amazing, and it's pretty insane what he's done with FXR. I remember my dad and I were the first people to wear FXR gear when his mom, and it used to be FR2 back then, and that's when his mom sewed the logos on in the basement. And now, he runs this huge apparel, snow and moto apparel company. Obviously the snow stuff is, above and beyond anything else out there. You go anywhere to any snowcross race or any Winter X Games, and it's just a sea of FXR. It's really incredible what a local Manitoban has done. And, he's still based here out of Manitoba, out in Sanford, Manitoba. It's kind of like our rural area. And just to see it grow and expand over the years of my life too, I've known Milt since I was a baby, but it's pretty incredible. And he employs so many people and a lot of my friends. And now my dad roofed for 50 some years, and he just finally retired from roofing, and now he works for FXR. And he's kind of the jack of all trades, does a little bit of everything, preps the track, preps bikes, handles their suspension. So. Yeah, it's pretty incredible what he's done, and he's just always maintained this super stand-up guy and very generous, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Go Manitoba!
Yeah. Hey, question, but I know you're busy heading to the ride day, but before we let you go, I got to ask you, I know obviously you and Sarah Price are really good friends. Did you see this past weekend? I was texting with her. She won her very first ever flat track race she raced in.
Oh, right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, she jumped on a Harley.
Riding those hoonigan bikes.
Yeah,
she rode in the Harley class.
Yeah.
I think that class is a lot different than the flat track class that I signed up for. I never got the opportunity to ride a Harley bike. I'm dying to. But yeah, no, it looked like a blast. She looked like, a lot of people came out to support her. But when I go back down to Florida, I'm going to be doing some more flat tracking too. And actually, the guy I've been hooking up with down there owns like a not in that way, but like. Yeah,
I was going to say that sounded so bad right there.
Well, yeah, come on. I knew I had to clarify that for you guys. But one of my buddies down there owns a chop shop, a bike shop, and has a whole bunch of those old vintage hoonigan style Harleys. And he's been dying to get me to ride one of them. So hopefully in a couple weeks here that I'll actually be able to get the opportunity to do so. But, yeah, I'd love to line up on a flat track race with Sarah. I don't think she's ever seen ice, never mind ice race. So I think I could, give her a good run for her money with the flat track.
Yeah, I was going to say, how close do you think your ice racing is to flat track? Got to be pretty damn close, huh?
You know what? I thought it was because I did a couple different flat tracks here in Canada, but then...
You there? I think we lost you.
Oh, yeah. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, sorry. I'm driving out into the bush right now, guys, so I might lose you, but the real AMA sanctioned flat track when you take off the brakes and You are literally going fifth gear tapped into these corners. Ice racing, you have nothing but traction with the ice picks on your tires. Flat track, man, like you literally are like nose to nose with the ground, and you get no traction, and you are full sliding. So it is a very different technique, but I'm very comfortable throwing it sideways in fifth gear just from ice racing. So that's kind of the one thing that I kind of got a leg up. It takes a while to be able to find that wiggle room of how far you can really push the bikes into the corner and how fast you can go, but ice racing has really prepped me for that.
Yeah. All right, Hood. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call. Have some fun today.
Thanks, guys.
Say hey to the fam for me, and we'll definitely chat soon.
I will. Thanks, guys, and I'm ready to go ride. Have me some fun at this FXR Ride Day.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
All right, that was Amy Hood, my partner in crime. She's on her way to the FXR Ride Day. Going to have a little fun on her dirt bike. Sounds like Black Betty is not going to be there, though. But, yeah, we're going to take a short break. We come back, man. Hit me up on Twitter, @JimBeaver15. We got a lot to talk about. A ton of Robbie Gordon news. Some fun there. Some Sebastian Loeb news, talking some Mint 400 TV. I don't know. We got Pikes Peak. We got Mount Washington. We got some tire drama in UTV and Lucas Oil. We got a lot coming at you in the next 2 hours. So I want your opinions, @JimBeaver15 on Twitter. Hit me up. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @DirtfishRally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us @General Tire, #anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We're probably about 15 minutes out from Jerett Brooks, General Tire driver and winner on the weekend in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. One of the young guns. He's going to be calling in, so about 15 minutes out from that interview. Right now, though, man, we got some news to get to, some stuff to talk about. I do want to give a big shout-out to my podcast, Project Action, over there on Podcast One. Had some amazing interviews recently. Had Spike Ferriston, big car guy, and the writer of Seinfeld Simpsons. He was on last week. This week, I got Matt Martelli with Mad Media. We sat down with Matt for about an hour and talked about him, his history in the industry, and takes us through Jim Connon with Ken Block and skateboard videos, and talking about the future of off-road and the Mint 400 and the UTV World Championship. That drops this Thursday on Podcast One and iTunes, as well as my website. So easiest way to get it is to go over and subscribe on iTunes to Project Action, as well as his podcast. But go over there and subscribe, and man, it's going to be beamed right to your iPhone, iPad, computer, iDevice. So easiest way to get it, but it's going to be a good one with Matt Martelli. Trust me, this one you don't want to miss, especially if you love motorsports or off-road. But yeah, and then speaking of the Martellis, this past weekend we had the Mint 400 on television. It's the one that everybody waits for, the biggest, baddest off-road race on the planet, and got 2 hours on NBC Sports, and I got to tell you, did not disappoint. It's how off-road TV should be done. Let's just put it out there, man. I've never seen a TV program, in the past it's always, we're just going to cover the top 3 trophy trucks and that's it. If you finished in 4th place, sorry, you're not getting coverage. If you race anything but a trophy truck, sorry, you're not getting coverage. But somehow they were able to cover all the limited classes, the UTVs, all the unlimited classes. So basically 2 different races packed into 2 hours of television. Plus, they told the back history of the Mint 400, had featurettes, everything else, and the cinematography was perfect. Like, I don't know if you can say they nailed it, but I'd say it's pretty darn close to being nailed as far as motorsports TV goes. On point. So I think if you guys didn't watch it, from what I understand, everybody's going, when's the rear? It's dropping something better than a re-air. That's right. I think as of today, at some point today, it's actually going to be live on iTunes. I don't know. I'm sure it's the Mint 400 UTV or YouTube channel. But it's going to be right there on YouTube. So I don't know what's better than watching a re-air on TV. YouTube. You can watch it anytime you want. Kind of digging that. So, yeah, you can check that out over on YouTube anytime. And then I also wanted to mention we won't be airing next week. Like Amy said, it's Canada Day. It's the 4th of July. I'm going to be in Minnesota sitting on a lake with a beer in my hand. And as much as I love you guys and I love talking to you guys, we rarely take a day off. But I'm taking the 4th of July off, and I'm going to sit on a lake with a fishing pole, on a boat, with a beer in my hand, and not do radio. So just putting it out there. Don't tune in next week because we're not going to be on air. We'll have probably a best of episode airing nationally if you listen in national syndication. So just putting it out there. We're taking a week off. We'll be back after that, though. And then I will, though, taking a week off. But then I actually do have a remote edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show we're going to be airing the 10th and 11th of July from the Mount Washington Hill Climb, the Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb. Subaru's flying me up there. Pastrana and Higgins are doing battle on a mountain, one of the oldest motorsports events in the country. I think second to only the Indy 500. It's basically the East Coast version of Pikes Peak. That's going down, and it's going to be a shootout, man. Pastrana's had the record up the mountain before. Higgins is the current record holder. Subaru is prepping them 2 identical WRX STIs, and they're going to let them unleash hell on this mountain. And it's all about the bragging rights, right? So the record will be broken. I'm going to go out there and say it. I think the record is going to be broken. Will it be Pastrana? Will it be Higgins? I don't know, but I can tell you I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be bringing you some live radio, some interviews all through the Down and Dirty Radio Show, I guess our kind of our radio network. So be looking on social media. If you subscribe on iTunes to our feed, you're going to get all those plugged in, the RSS feed, and then we're going to recap everything the next week on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and I'll probably combine everything for the Project Action that week, all the interviews and stuff like that. But we will be bringing you some Facebook live streaming, a bunch of stuff from the Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb. So that's coming up, and trust me, you don't want to miss that. And we will be dropping podcasts on Project Action, even though I'm taking a week off. And then later on in the month of July, man, it's just getting better, right? Don't forget, August 1st, we've got our 300th episode. We're blowing the roof off of that. I want your suggestions for guests. But we're going to be live from the Polaris Razor Dealer Show, and they're going to announce their 2018 model lineup, and we are going to be there on the floor doing live radio, bringing you all the coverage. So if you're a UTV fan, if you want to know what's coming out of Polaris Razor, Down and Dirty Radio Show, we're going to have you locked and loaded and covered. So that's later on in the month too. So I don't know if we got enough news thrown at you, man. We got a lot of stuff going on in July. And then in August, we're 300th episode, and then Vegas to Reno, and the Star Car being back. And, man, it's a lot coming at you. I'm kind of digging the way July is shaping up, though, to be honest with you. But we got to circle back on something that we talked about last week. Robbie Gordon down there in Australia. So I think taking you through, so he got caught doing donuts out in front of a nightclub where they were having something like a promotional event for the race down there, right, in the Northern Territory. Did a couple of donuts before throwing it on the trailer. Local judge got pissy, fined him $4,000, and then they took his Australian, quote, driver's license where he couldn't drive on the streets for a year, and then they decided, we're going to revoke his competition visa so Robbie can't ever indefinitely race a motorsports event in Australia again. A little rash? Yes. I think that judge had it out for Robbie, right? So Robbie is Robbie. What's he do? He spins this deal. He's got everybody in Australia pissed off at the judge, pissed off at the government, and you know what? He's been making the talk show circuit down there in Australia. You want to talk about the best $4,000 Robbie Gordon has ever spent? It was definitely down there in Australia. My boy Robbie Gordon, he can spin anything into positive publicity. I don't know. They say there's no such thing as negative publicity. Robbie Gordon, case in point, man. Only guy that gets his driver's license taken away and spun for it and, costs him $4,000, and he's on every TV show in Australia, every news feed. I got to tell you, if they do allow Stadium Super Trucks back in Australia, it's going to be a packed house. You know what? Tip of the cap to you, Robbie, my friend. You did a solid gold job down there in Australia spinning this your direction. I mean, was there ever any doubt, right? It's Robbie freaking Gordon. But I don't know. I've been and at some point, they've got like a petition floating around. They got a petition to give Robbie his license back. Like all the people in Australia and the motorsports fans are going crazy over this. I honestly believe Stadium Super Trucks will be back next year. I honestly believe, if not sooner, I honestly believe Robbie's going to get his license back, maybe a slap in the wrist. But I tell you what, man, the people in charge of this stuff, they're getting some heat down there in Australia, and rightfully so, man. A lot of us have spun donuts in our race cars, in the street, just load them on a trailer or something like that. I think it's a little ridiculous. It was a little excessive. Wasn't like he was racing through the streets and things like that. I don't know. It's I really don't know, man. It's it is what it is. But Robbie Gordon, congrats to you, buddy. It looks like you're getting something positive out of this, if there is a such thing. And then, we got some other news coming out. We got Pikes Peak. Obviously, we're going to get to those results here later on in the show. But big news coming out. So I've been wondering, and I don't know if you guys have, but I've been wondering if what the heck happened to Sebastian Loeb's car that he ran up Pikes Peak, right? The one he shattered the record with. Literally, they show up, Loeb blows the record away, and then here's this badass car sitting somewhere in mothballs in a warehouse, right? Never to be seen of again. Sure, it made a couple of trade show tour stops or something like that. I wonder what the heck what was going on, right? Somehow, I guess that Sebastian Loeb has reacquired the car. I guess Peugeot was done with the car finally. I don't know that they ever actually did anything with it after he broke the record. But I guess it was sitting there. I don't know if they gifted it to him or if they sold it to him. But Sebastian Loeb is now the new owner of his Pikes Peak car. And it sounds like he's actually going to do some racing events in Europe with it. which has me really excited. I think there's like a smaller hill climb in France. He's going to run it there, but it sounds like he's actually, it's not like he's going to put it in his personal collection and it sits there and he posts an Instagram picture of it once in a while. No, like this car legit, Sebastian Loeb is going to race it. That, me as a motorsports guy, that gets me excited. Like, this is one of the baddest race cars ever built. Destroyed the record at Pikes Peak, and it's just been sitting there. Super stoked for Sebastian Loeb to have this back. I'm hoping he brings it back to the United States for some event. I don't know that he's ever going to do, Pikes Peak again. There's no reason. He owns the record, right? But it would be fun just to see him run that thing at some events. It's such an amazing, amazing piece of engineering and machinery. So, Sebastian Loeb reacquired his Pikes Peak car from Peugeot, and it's only a couple years removed from shattering the record. It's not like it's some vintage race car, right? It's still one of the most technically advanced race cars in the world, and Sebastian Loeb has reacquired it. So that's definitely good news if you're a motorsport fan. I know I am. I'm excited about this. Hopefully he can get some really rad social media videos, start plugging, putting them out and promoting and stuff. So, we're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. But when we come back, we got General Tire driver, Lucas Oil winner, Jerett Brooks. He's calling in here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here. I'd like to welcome my General Tire teammate, one of the big weekend winners at the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series in Utah, Jerett Brooks. How's everything going, Jerett?
Pretty good. Just got back from Utah yesterday and had a pretty good weekend in the Pro Light. We won on Saturday. In the Pro 2, we got third. So I was overall pretty pumped just because this Pro Light field's so stacked this year, and it's hard to get podiums, and it's not like you can just go through the field if you start sixth or fifth. I mean, the top three guys, no matter what, are always going to be there. Or I should say, the top 10 guys are always in the same second. So it's not like you can get through the field fast or anything. And then the Pro 2, I think just a full learning curve for me this year, but I mean, I'm pretty pumped. My team has been working their butts off on it, and it's an older truck, so we don't really know the setups on it. So we working our butts off on that, and I think we have a fast, competitive truck at every track we've gone to. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah. Well, I laugh. You go, oh, there's going to be a learning curve, says the guy who goes out and wins in his debut weekend, right? How was that for you guys to go out right out of the box with this thing? I mean, I know you going in, you were like, most people, you switch divisions, you race the next division up from what you're used to, and it's like, all right, it's going to take us at least half a season to figure things out, right? At least sometimes it's full season, You go in there and, what was it, opening weekend, right? You walked away with a victory in Pro 2. That had to have been pretty special, man.
Yeah, racing two classes, for sure I did not think it was going to be this hard, but from having our shop up in Temecula at John Hoffman's shop, doing the Pro Light out of there and the Pro 2, and from me being down in San Diego running parts up there daily, and I work on the Pro Light, so going to the track was a full learning curve for us. We didn't really know what we were into until we got to the track, and then next thing you know, I'm jumping out of my Pro Light into my Pro 2, which I never did before. And driving two trucks one after another is pretty hard. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that hard, but the Pro Light is so light and nimble compared to that Pro 2. It's a heavy tank. It doesn't like to turn and stuff. So I struggled a lot the first weekend, and I just kind of went out there in the Pro 2 and just said, just go for it. Just get comfortable in it and just run some laps. And next thing you know, I was sitting in a podium position, feeling pretty good, and then just started charging from there. And it was cool, though. I mean, for sure, something I'm never going to forget. My dream was always to win a Pro 2 race, and to do it my first time was pretty epic. Yeah,
that's it's really special. I mean, that does not happen. It just doesn't, and my mind was blown when that happened for you guys. And, I know you guys have put in the work, but, speaking of that, I mean, how much difference? I've talked to a lot of guys who do both Pro 2 and Pro 4, and they've got to literally like switch, flip a switch, because driving the Pro 4 is so much different than the Pro 2. Is it really difficult for you to jump back and forth between the two, or what are the biggest differences for you as a driver?
It's not that bad. I feel like the Pro 2 versus Pro 4 is probably pretty hard also, but what hurts me is when I drive my Pro 2, I have to throw the thing in there so hard, throw it sideways so hard, and manage throttle control. With my Pro Light, I mean, I don't really have to do that. And so when I hop back into my Pro Light, I tend to over-rotate a lot, spin it out, and just run different lines. So that's what kind of hurts me in a way, because the Pro 2 is it's all about throttle. You throw it in there, and you're just controlling the thing with the throttle. With the Pro Light, I'm pretty much pegged around the turn, just trying to hold on to it, keep it off the bike. The Pro 2 doesn't really get on the bike. The Pro Light gets on the bike a lot. So I just kind of have to tell myself and be ready for the first few laps. I've almost spun it out a few times this year. Actually, I have.
Yeah. Well, and, how is it for you guys? I mean, next up, I think, is the race in Missouri, right? The new track in Missouri. How is that? Yep. How is that for you guys? I mean, nobody has any data on this track, and you were saying the big thing about Pro 2 is you don't know setups and stuff like that. But this is the first time in a long time. I guess the race down there in Mexico would have been the same a couple of years ago. But you're going into a new track, nobody has any data on this. I mean, nobody's actually even run this track that I know of. How is that? How do you guys approach this race weekend coming up, here in July? Because it's a different animal with no data, no nothing.
Yeah, no, it'll be for sure be a tough track just to try to base something off of. And fortunately, Lucas gives us a couple practices on Friday, so we're gonna go out and just try to throw a Mexico setup at it or something, because it seems like a bigger track. I still haven't even looked into it on how big the track is, but we'll probably try to throw one of our bigger track setups on it and just go from there and kind of see where we're based on the first few practices and go from there. But I think it's pretty cool that Lucas we're heading back east and throwing a full new track at all the new drivers.
Yeah, well, it's got to be exciting for you guys. I know a couple of years ago you won the Torque Championship, and you were running a lot in the Midwest, and I'm sure you've got you've got a fan base back there. It's got to be pretty exciting for you to kind of head back towards the Midwest a little bit, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fans come down that, generally, go to, the Crandons and, in Chicagoland and places like that. It's got to be pretty exciting for you to, kind of head back there and to a part of the country you haven't run in a couple of years.
And I'm pumped, especially because that Lucas track looks more like the Torque track also. It's pretty big, wide open. I think they were saying it has 9 to 10 turns in it too. So it looks like a fun track, especially I heard some of the Torque guys are going to come back. So I think it'll be kind of cool. Meet up with some of the Torque guys and see kind of where they're based out of on us and see how we're based, how fast we are versus them.
Yeah, it should. I'm pretty excited, man. I think, like you said, it seems like there's maybe once a year where we really get a shootout, an East versus West, or Torque and Lucas come together and everybody shows up for one. And it seems like this is going to be that round. And I think, like you said, I think the competition is going to be elevated, and and there's going to be some added bragging rights mixed in, I think, with Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4.
Oh, for sure. Especially just a whole new atmosphere track is always kind of an evil leveling playing field. So for us, I think it'll help out a lot in the Pro 2, just because our setups are kind of tough to find because we haven't been to these tracks, or we don't have guys that have been on teams that have been there. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm stoked on it.
Yeah. Well, and, I want to talk a little bit, too, about this year, moving into the Pro Light and running the Pro 2. You guys, a lot of teams, it's a tough, a lot of, logistically there's a lot of challenges because, you're running 2 trucks instead of 1, so you need more, manpower and things like that. But second, it's finding those sponsors to be able to run 2 different trucks. It's such a high level. And, you guys, how are you guys approaching the business side of things differently than other teams? Because, I look between General Tire and you guys have Rigid, and I know Bilstein Shocks have come in, and you guys, it looks like you're doing pretty well. How are you approaching the sponsorship into the business, differently than everybody else, because it's allowing you to run 2 different trucks in 2 different divisions?
Yeah, for sure. Finding sponsors in off-road is so tough because I feel like it's so fierce. I feel like there's only so many sponsors in short course, and it's kind of hard to go outside the box and find new ones that no one has or someone isn't sponsored by. So this year we kind of stepped it up and got Brett Carpenter on the team, and he's my full PR guy. That's his full job, and so he helps out a lot. He does a lot of my social media, helps me find sponsors. He does all my press releases and photos now. So he's a big time role in my team. He does a lot. So he mainly sets it up where I can go talk to people and just get new sponsors that no one has been looking for yet.
Yeah. Well, and I know you guys with General Tire have had a solid relationship with them. I know it was kind of funny because, this new Grabber X3 came out, and I know all of us on General Tires, we knew it was coming out, and it was General's like, we got this amazing new tire, and I know I'm running it on my race razors, and, and we've tested them, on a lot of the pre-runners and things like that. But I know specifically in Pro Light, it was a big deal. You guys run DOT tires in there, and, coming in, it was, the General had a good tire before, but for one reason or another, I know there was a few people that, left the brand and went other places, and it may have been dollars, it may have been multiple reasons, but I think, was it last year or the year before, you came in and you just immediately on those X3s, you just started dominating, and now you can see the tide change, and it's like everybody's like, oh, maybe we ought to go back and start running those General tires again, because they're doing so well in Pro Light. But it's just something I saw, and you guys, immediately that X3 came out and you guys started dominating. It's got to be one heck of a tire.
Yeah, no, that was kind of the funny thing also. I saw a lot of people leave General Tire, and at first we were a little timid to go on General tires, but we first went and tested them, and they were just as good as any other tire I've been on. So the Pro Light, for sure, they stepped up their game huge time in Pro Light, and I think they for sure have one of the best Pro Light tires. And especially the Pro 2, they stepped up their game huge this year in Pro 2. They just came out with another new tire, and it lived. It lived in Utah, and that's one of the toughest tracks on tires because of blue grooves and tire gets hot. So, I was right there. So knowing that our tire isn't the problem anymore, and we can run up front, it shows that they're in it. They're in it to win it, and it's cool to have support like that from one of your big-time title sponsors.
Yeah, well, and moving forward, looking at the rest of this year, obviously we got the new round in Missouri coming up. We've still got another round in Phoenix and a few others mixed in there. But with you guys, what's it going to take? I know Pro Light, you guys have it's a crazy battle in both divisions. But what's it going to take in both divisions for you guys to get up on top and stay up on top?
Yeah, Pro Light, I feel like we just need a little bit more luck. We were really fast in Utah the whole weekend. But the inverts are just killing us. We qualified first on Sunday and pulled a 6-pole invert, and from there, it's so hard to get through the field. So just need a little bit more luck on that. And the Pro 2, I think it's just down to me now. I think we know the setup. I think we've been trying to play with a little bit of stuff every time we go to the track and practice and all that stuff. And I think this weekend we just kind of figured out what we need to start running, and I think it's just down to me. I feel comfortable in both trucks, hopping in and out of both of them. So I think we can win in either class. So it's cool to be competitive in both classes.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough to be competitive in both classes too, and you guys have definitely done a good job at that. So past that, I got asked a question. I ask every short course driver that comes on, and I know you've raced there before. It's a place that's special, but any chance we see you guys at Crandon this year?
We might. The only downfall is that the Pro 2s, I've been back there so many times in my Pro Light that I really want to go back on a Pro 2. But I think the torque rules kind of affected us this year. So we could go back in the Pro Light if there's a big crowd going to Pro Lights, but who knows? You never know. It always leads up to the last minute.
Yeah, it always seems that way with Crandon. It's like everybody wants to go, and just there's so many dates kind of meshed in, and it makes it really tough unless you just have a phenomenal weekend up there in Reno or something like that, and nothing's the matter with the truck. It just makes it really tough to go back there. But
yeah.
But no, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, buddy. Once again, congrats on the win. I love love watching you battle it in both divisions. Seems like you're doing a hell of a job in both, and definitely need to have you on more often.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jerett. Take it easy, buddy. Tell Brett I said hey.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See ya. All right, that was Jerett Brooks, General Tire driver in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series, running in Pro 2 and Pro Light, and doing one hell of a job, man. This kid, he's one of those. I put him in that, in that hat. Like I said, there's a few of them. You've got Jerett Brooks, and I know, we've talked about Haley Deegan before, and she's running in Pro Light now, and even Ronnie Anderson. I'd throw him in the mix, and these kids are so talented. And I can't wait to see 5-10 years out where they're at and what they're doing, because I think it's going to be mind-boggling where they're going to elevate, off-road racing to in the future, or whatever motorsport they choose. I think the doors are going to open for a kid like Jerett to go and do a lot of different things. So, here's hoping we see him in a GRC car at some time. I think that'd be fun too. But we're going to take a break. We come back. Got some motocross results and some torque results here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Twister of Treasure is at Blue Water Resort and Casino for a chance to grab $2,500 in cash through August 30th.
Sundays from 3 to 5, Wednesdays from 5 to 8 p.m. Participants are drawn for a chance to enter the Twister of Treasure money machine.
Count me in to enter the Twister of Treasure for a chance to grab the cash.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, bringing you some results on the weekend. Man, we got a lot of results to get to today, so it's going to take up multiple segments. But friends up there at the Torque Championship, they were in action at Crandon over the weekend, and man, Pro Stock UTV CJ Greaves sweeping the weekend. And then another sweep going on in Pro Light. Kyle Kleeman with a sweep of the Pro Light weekend. And then in Pro 2, it was Brad Lovell with a sweep of the weekend. It was sweep was, I guess, the theme of the weekend in the Torque Series with the Pro 2 sweep for Brad Lovell. And then Pro 4 was a Greaves sweep. We had Johnny taking one of the victories and CJ taking one of the victories up there at Torque Crandon. And don't forget, this is the small Crandon, the big one, coming at you Labor Day weekend. And then we also had Pro Motocross, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross in action. 450s. It was Eli Tomac back on the gas We've been wondering where Tomac's been hiding. Well, I tell you what, he came out of hiding this weekend for the race in Tennessee. Taking the victory, he went 2-1 in the motos. Jason Anderson 1-2 in the motos, but tiebreaker goes to the winner of the second moto. It was Tomac. So it was Tomac, Anderson, and then Blake Baggett with a couple of third places, rounding out your podium in the 450s. And then in the 250 class, Aaron Plessinger going 1-2. Zach Osborne with a 5th and a 1st. He finished in second. And then Faulkner, Cianciarulo, and Alex Martin, your top 5. And those were your results of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship and the Torque Championship up there in Cranon. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And right now, we are moving on into our Lucas Oil Off-Road results, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. Don't forget, anywhere is possible. And let me tell you, man, I take those General Tires everywhere with me. Doesn't matter if it's on my Subaru, on my Polaris Razors, my trophy truck. Man, we don't go anywhere without our General Tires, and they've taken me some pretty amazing places. That's for sure. But Lucas Oil, Utah. Tough track up there, man. It was crazy happening in Salt Lake City this weekend. We had Lucas Oil, we had Nitro World Games, and they had Vans Warped Tour all going on Saturday. Crazy. That many events in Salt Lake City on one day. You know, if you were in SLC that weekend, you had no excuse but not to have a whole lot of fun. That's I'd be hopping back and forth between venues, I can tell you that. I don't know how close they were, but be a ton of fun. UTV winner on the weekend in Lucas Oil. Well, your winners, it was Brock Heger sweep, taking victories both days in the UTV, in the UTV division. Pro Buggy was Bud Ward and Darren Hardesty, or I guess Darren Hot Sauce Hardesty as he's known, taking your wins there in Pro Buggy. Pro Light was our friend Jerett Brooks on his General Tires, taking the victory in Pro Light. And Brandon Arthur taking the Day 2 victory in Pro Light up there in Utah. Pro 2, Brian the General Deegan taking a victory there. And Bradley Morris also taking a victory in Pro 2. And then in Pro 4, Kyle LeDuc taking one of the victories. And Rob McCachran with the other victory up there in Utah. So solid results up there in Utah. Great weekend of racing. And Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series moves on to Missouri in late July. Brand new track there in Wheatlands, Missouri. So definitely looking forward to that one. And we actually will be doing a live radio show out at the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series later on this year at the Phoenix round to cap things off with our good friends at General Tire. So if you're a Lucas Oil Off-Road fan, you're a Down and Dirty Radio Show fan, you know what? We're going to be coming at you live from one of the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series events later on this year. You don't want to miss that one. As we get closer to that race in Phoenix, I will kind of get you guys tuned in, let you know, when, where, and how to tune in. But we, pretty excited to announce that. We'll be coming at you with our good friends at Lucas Oil, Lucas Oil and General Tire. So should be a solid weekend, when we get out there. But those are your Lucas Oil results brought to you by General Tire. Don't forget, anywhere is possible. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Twister of Treasure is at Blue Water Resort and Casino for a chance to grab $2,500 in cash through August 30th.
Sundays from 3 to 5, Wednesdays from 5 to 8 p.m. Participants are drawn for a chance to enter the Twister of Treasure money machine.
Count me in to enter the Twister of Treasure for a chance to grab the cash.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver joined on the line by my good friend Joe Duncan. This is our Terracross Starts with Optimus segment, brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters. And I can tell you what, Joe, we're getting the Polaris Razor Star Car all ready to go for Vegas to Reno. It's going to be on display at the Polaris Dealer Show. And we just got done over the weekend, no joke, putting a brand new Optimus starter in that Polaris Razor Star Car. So, I practice what I preach.
All ready to go, don't you?
Yeah, I practice what I preach, my friend.
That's why you're with some of the best partners in the industry.
Yeah. So, well, I know you. You are a busy guy. I know we didn't have you on air last week, I believe, but you were up at Nitro World Games, and I'm a little bit jealous. How were things up there? Were you there for fun, or were you actually there working, or was it both?
I was there working with Travis Pastrana and the gang, and we got a great crew out there that helps put that on, and we had an amazing event up there, and wow, some of those tricks those guys do. That Bowden was probably 60-some feet in the air doing different backflip variation tricks. It was just the pure look of it. Josh Sheehan does a double backflip heel clicker and doesn't even get on the podium. I mean, it's just, there was some pretty insane stuff going on up there.
Yeah, well, and it seems like with Nitro World Games, I mean, it's actually, a lot of people at first like, it's a competitor to X Games, and I almost at this point, I don't see it as a competitor to X Games. It's just its own different event. It's so different than anything X Games has. I don't know how you can even really compare the two. I mean, yeah, you're giving away medals, but it's such a different format with different events and things like that. I think there's definitely room to have both events now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it is although it's loosely based off of where Travis and the action sports began and continue to grow, but it is its own event, its own entity, and has a different setup and a little bit different vibe. But yeah, it's cool. It's big. It's Salt Lake was awesome. Good time there. Lots of practice and kicked off a live television show on Saturday night, and then Sunday. Lucky enough, the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series was in Utah, 25 minutes away. So went down there and hung out with, Walker Evans and the gang down there, RJ Anderson and Joey D and the whole clan, and watched some truck racing before I had to grab a flight out of there at 5:00 on Sunday. So yeah, I got a great multi-event weekend.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said there was, Nitro World Games. They had Lucas Oil Off-Road, and then they actually had Vans Warp Tour, which goes after the same demographic as both of them going on there at the same time, too. And I go, man, if you're in Salt Lake City this weekend, you had no excuse not to have a good time. Like, between those three events.
Yeah, and at the Utah Motorsports Park, there was Supermoto, there was Super Bikes, and I think there was one other thing as well along with the off-road. So, I mean, it was pretty crazy. And that's one of the biggest off-road tracks that Lucas Oil runs. So it's some crazy, great racing out there. Saw something, I only see in Terracross usually, but the Pro 4s were stacked up like cordwood, and there was cars on top of trucks on top of trucks on top of trucks, and all bound up in the back there. And then old RJ Anderson pulled off a couple of podiums, and one of our big Terracross racers there, and yeah, it was just a really good time seeing everybody and hanging out there.
Yeah, well, I just had Jerett Brooks on air. At the end of hour one, he took a victory in Pro Light. He runs Pro Light, Pro 2, and he's a dominator. He's a young kid, and we're talking, and I go, man, this kid, he's got a lot of sponsors, a lot of backing. He's killing it in Lucas. I'm like, he's like perfect for Terracross. We need to get Jerett Brooks in one of these racers. Like, he can drive anything, and he's good friends with everybody. He came up through the ranks with the Andersons, and he's right in that age, and so I started thinking, I'm like, man, we gotta reach out and try and get him in one of these racers at one of the rounds. He'd be perfect.
Yeah, let's do it. He's been killing it out there.
Yeah. So I look and I go, you got these, you got, like, I look at it, and you got, these young kids, that are 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, Mitchie Guthrie, and RJ, he's still young, Ronnie Anderson, they're fearless, right? And then you got guys like me that, you got guys like me in Terracross, and I look at like Feist and, and some of us, and we've had so many crashes. I feel like that we're a little nervous in the back of our head, and these younger kids, they're fearless,
Yeah, it's great racing, and with having the multiple classes, so you kind of have the like drivers in the different classes, and of course this year we got the Razor Turbo class, which Jason Luberg and RJ and Cody Raiders and Brandon Sims and all those guys will be hammering away at. So yeah, it's gonna be a good season here. We'll have actually just had some great meetings yesterday that we'll release some info on, and then a few weeks back we were traveling again, and again just got some big announcements coming up. We've talked about it. Probably going to be a release in August here that we'll talk about a pretty big and bright future for Terracross in 2018 to basically 2020. So excited about the meetings Jeremy and I and the gang have been having, and getting ready for a a fun short season this year, but it's going to lead into a couple of big seasons coming down the road with multi-year deals with events and television and everything else.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, we've been talking about Terracross, and we're a little over 2 months out from heydays, and I started going, I'm like, man, this thing's sneaking up on us.
That's okay. Usually we're dealing with the week before. So the nice thing is we got a lot of stuff done ahead of time. A lot of good things in the works there, and our second event looking like it's going to be that early October. We'll have more details probably next week, it sounds like, but a lot of the stuff that I was down there meeting with the last time we talked went really well, and another great military support. Terracross supports the military event coming up down by Raleigh, North Carolina.
Nice. Should definitely be a fun weekend. So what's up next for you? I know we're taking a week off of the show, and I'm coming up your area on the lake. And it's like I said, next week, I said we're not doing radio. I'm going to be sitting on the lake with a beer in my hand and not thinking about radio. So
I'll see you up here in Minnesota. And then, as you know, X Games is right around the corner, and U.S. Bank Stadium and the Mall of America, and everybody's starting to roll into town, and things are getting built, and I think everything's moved out of Austin, Texas to here in Minnesota, and we're going to have a big old X Games event in our backyard. Home field advantage, I call it. First time ever in Minneapolis, and I think everybody's going to like it. They're going to like the feel. They're going to like the vibe. They're going to like obviously the $1.1 billion U.S. Bank Stadium. So just really cool situation. Get to sleep in my own bed and be able to go down and work the event.
Yeah, and it's I'm excited. I know I'm probably not going to be at X Games. I've got to shoot between. I got to go to Mount Washington, and I got to do. I'm going to be up there with Subaru. Pastrana and Higgins are shooting out for the record at Mount Washington, and then 2 weeks later. Is a Polaris dealer show that I've got to be at. So I know, and then I think X Games thrown in the middle. So I'm like, maybe I probably ought to spend at least one weekend at home, I think, at some point. So I think X Games got axed. We'll definitely be covering it on the show, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be pretty awesome. They got some great events, and again, inside the stadium, like unlike the last couple of years, they have weather issues and cancellations and evacuations, and I think they're going to really enjoy. I mean, it's 70 degrees, a little over 70 degrees, sunny, just beautiful summer day here in good old Minnesota. So I think they're going to enjoy this over the heat and some of the weather that they had to deal with down in Texas.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I fly in tomorrow, so I hope that weather holds for me because I'm over this 120-some degree weather in Arizona, that's for sure. But
you would melt guys like me down there.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Well, we got to take a break, buddy.
We'll
yeah, we'll definitely give you a shout as soon as I get to town, my friend.
All right. See you, Jimmy.
All right. And that was your Terracross Starts with Optimus segment with Terracross's Joe Duncan. We're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Hey everybody, this is Spike Ferguson from Spike's Car Radio. We're out here in the porch of at the Malibu Kitchen at the Malibu Country Mart every weekend doing podcasts. My first guest is Jerry Seinfeld. He's right here. We're going to have Jeremy Piven. We're going to have Chris Hardwick. See you soon on Spike's Car Radio.
I think he's over-projecting for a podcast.
And I love to over-project for podcasts. Join me every week at podcast1.com and Apple Podcasts.
Twister of Treasure is at Blue Water Resort and Casino for a chance to grab $2,500 in cash through August 30th.
Sundays from 3 to 5, Wednesdays from 5 to 8 p.m. Participants are drawn for a chance to enter the Twister of Treasure money machine.
Count me in to enter the Twister of Treasure for a chance to grab the cash.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, bringing you some more of the best action motorsports radio content. Don't forget, we're about 15 minutes out from my buddy Robbie Pierce, CEO of Impact Race Products. He's going to be on air to talk about the big blockbuster news today coming out of the motorsports world. Impact Racing Products and Mastercraft Safety being sold to Sparco. And it's a big news. At multiple levels in motorsport. So, definitely looking forward to having Robbie on here shortly. You guys should definitely tune in for that because this is definitely going to make waves from everywhere from Formula One to off-road and dirt track and IndyCar and drag racing and rally and everywhere in between, man. Between Impact, Mastercraft, and Sparco, there ain't a motorsports event anywhere in the country that doesn't have one of those three brands there or globally, So definitely going to be a really fun time having him on and being able to discuss everything that's happening. But speaking of happening, we did have a little event happen this past weekend. Just a little event called the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. And for some reason this year, nobody's talking about Pikes Peak. I don't know. And we had Reese Millen racing. Millen's a big name. And I don't know why, but nobody's talking about Pikes Peak. But we're going to talk about Pikes Peak here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So Pikes Peak was happening. I always thought it was in July. I don't know if it got moved forward or what. Maybe there's windows with weather. I don't know. But anyways, it happened, and Romain Dumas ended up taking the fast time. It was 9:05.672, average speed of almost 80 miles an hour, just shy, 79.168, just shy of 80 miles an hour. And Romain from France, it's his third try at the overall win in a limited car, and finally took it. Finally clipped that magical mark. Obviously we're nowhere near close to the times that Sebastian Loeb set. But Romain Dumas, a big shout out to him for the victory. We had Peter Cunningham, a rookie, in second. which that's pretty solid effort, right? 933.797. Clint Vaschholz, yep, the Vaschholz, you know them from Pikes Peak, synonymous with the Vaschholz name, and Clint Vaschholz, 935. He was third overall, and he wasn't no rookie. And then in fourth place, not a rookie there either, Reese Millen in that Hyundai Genesis Coupe. That battery-operated electric car, 947.427. He was in fourth, and then fifth went to Chris Fillmore on a KTM Super Duke, your overall motorcycle winner, and he was there in fifth overall. So. Kind of cool to see a motorcycle sneaking in there into the top 5. Other notable, I gotta give a shout out to 9th place, my boy James Robinson. He races Stage Rally and Rally America, multi-time Stage Rally champ in a B-Spec Honda. He's moved up to a little bit quicker Honda this year in Rally America, but he was in a 2017 Acura NSX and a time of 10:03.433, almost broke the 10-minute barrier in that Acura NSX. But 9th overall, solid effort by James Robinson. So big shout out to him. I know him; he's an awesome guy. So you gotta throw him a bone there and give him a little credit where credit's due. But that was the Pikes Peak results from this year. Looks like they had a total of 78 entries, 78 guys and ladies trying to tack the mountain. So that's. I don't know. Pikes Peak went on. We didn't hear anything about it until now, and it's done and over. So I don't know, but big news. I will be going to Mount Washington, the East Coast version of Pikes Peak. Right? I'll be going to Mount Washington here next week. Don't forget next weekend, next Saturday, Sunday will be the 10th and 11th. I'll be bringing you radio interviews and coverage from the Mount Washington Hill Climb, brought to you by Subaru. Both the radio show coverage will be and the event brought to you by Subaru. So I'm flying up there, and we've got Travis Pastrana and David Higgins with a shootout in match spec WRX STIs. They're going to be attacking the mountain, and it's a shootout to see who's going to have bragging rights, who's going to set the record, who's going to be able to claim they are the fastest. Not to mention there's 70 other entries, but the big story is Pastrana Higgins, right? And that's what we will, we're going to be covering a lot of what goes on there. But definitely Trav and David shooting out. They've been going back and forth in Stage Rally for 2 years now, and this is not going to be any different. Definitely looking forward to that. So, we mentioned with Joe Duncan, we had some Nitro World Games results. I'm going to, I'll give you a quick rundown. We'll just throw in all the results, but you want a full recap of the Nitro World Games, you can tune into Project Action this week. We'll have full coverage of it on Project Action on Podcast One. Don't forget my guest again, Matt Martelli. So go over there on iTunes, subscribe. You'll be able to get full coverage of this. But Scooter, it was Ryan Williams with a win. Colton Walker with BMX triple hit. We had the skateboard best trick was Elliott Sloan. BMX best trick, Ryan Williams. And then we did have a little bit of drama in that. We'll talk about that in Project Action. FMX best trick, Harry Bink with the win. William Vanden Putte in second. Pat Bowden in third. And then freestyle FMX. Like the full run. It was Levi Sherwood, Javier Villegas, and Josh Sheehan, the unicorn, Josh Sheeny, a.k.a. Sheeny, finishing up there with the third podium spot. And, some other drama coming out of the UTV world, and particularly Lucas Oil Off-Road, and up there in Utah. It's kind of interesting, something I noticed at the start of this year, but, to start, Lucas brought UTVs back, Production 1000 to the big show, right? Rightfully so. They deserve a place in the big show. So, immediately guys just, added coverage, right? It's a big deal running in the Nationals. So, guys are always looking for an edge, and tires, in UTV racing, it's open. A lot of guys who run the tried and true, same old, everybody runs. Some of these others, some guys went out and got some Hoosier dirt track tires and started running them on their UTV. And immediately people are like, whoa, what's going on here? Well, they're lighter and they're actually made for dirt and mud, right? Makes a lot of sense to me. And, so then it's like, everyone's like, they're getting an edge. So now you got like half the field running these Hoosier dirt track tires. Now, keep in mind, Hoosier is 100% fully owned by General Tire. So, there is some ties there to off-road. But now you've got some of these UTV quote-unquote purists, and they're on the internet, and they're complaining, and, they ought to ban Hoosiers. You got to run these old donut UTV tires. I think they ought to be running them old 28-inch UTV tires like they had on the old Rhinos, and that's a bunch of crap. And it's like, well, really? What are you guys complaining about, man? And, there's these threads in these forums, miles long. And these are actually racers in the series, and they're pissed off. I'm like, and you know what they're pissed off about? They got a tire sponsor that doesn't have a tire that's good enough. And so they're losing. So now it's like, no, we got to ban the tires that are winning. Oh, it's a bunch of crap. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this, right? The tire is 100% legal for UTV racing. It's within spec. It's widely available for everybody. You can go to pretty much any place that sells dirt track tires and get them. It's not like these guys are running anything special, right? But these guys with these old UTV tires and, and their sponsors can't keep up with Hoosier or General Tire, they're getting all pissy. We got to ban those and, why? You're losing now? When you were winning, you didn't care, but now all of a sudden someone comes with something better, and that's legal, 100% legal. They ain't hiding nothing. It's not some special tire, and now you're pissy because you're locked into a contract with a company who can't hang? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I think you guys are doing more whining. I'd be calling my tire sponsor and saying, "Hey, man, we need to step up our game here instead of trying to get these tires banned." There's nothing wrong with those tires. And then their excuse is, Hoosier, they don't care about UTV racing. Oh, bunch of crap. You know what? Hoosier is owned by General Tire. And you know what? General Tire is the official tire of Lucas Oil and the official tire of Best in the Desert. Who are you? And they're the official UTV tire of Best in the Desert. And I run General Tires on the Star Car. So who are you to say that Hoosier does not care about UTV racing or off-road? I think you are a poor sport. I think you guys suck. You're losing and you're complaining and you're trying to find a reason to get these banned so you can actually go back to being competitive. So I don't know. I'm on this rant. I'd love to know what you guys thought about it. But, UTV tires is a bunch of drama. And actually, if you go, there's a private group, but it's UTV Underground, our friends. We got Joey D, on the show all the time. It's got 3,000 members, right? From the Polaris Razor and UTV community. It's on Facebook. It's UTV Racing powered by UTV Underground or something like that, right? It's Facebook. It should be easy to find. But to go and there's this conversation literally, hundreds of posts deep at this point. And you guys got to read this crap. But a lot of poor sports out there. And my thought is I don't know, step up or step out. That's what makes racing great, right? People find an edge and they get to run with it until you can bring something better. They're not cheating. They're just smarter than you are, Own up to it. So, there we go. Rant over. But Jim Beaver says, Hoosier Tires and General Tire, they're here to stay in UTV racing. And if you got a problem with it, I'd like to hear, but you know what? It ain't going to change my mind. Anyways, we're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And up next, we've got my good friend Robbie Pierce from Impact. He's going to be talking about the big news today that Sparco acquiring Impact and Mastercraft Safety. That coming at you after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest, one of my good friends and a partner in my race programs in the show, Robbie Pierce with Impact Race Products. But I know the big news coming out is, as I say, Robbie with Impact Race Products and Mastercraft Safety, as people in motorsports and off-road are now reading, I'm sure, the dynamic has changed a bit. Robbie, how's everything going today for you guys?
Well, it's been a little busy for the last few weeks putting this deal together, but it's something that both Kelly and I are pretty excited about. With the acquisition of Impact Racing and Mastercraft Safety, it's a compliment to me to have a company of the stature and size of Sparco to catch their eye and interest and have them acquire the company. So it's been a deal that we've been working on over the last 6 weeks. Actually took a trip out over to Italy, spent 3 or 4 days over there, toured the facility, saw how they do their manufacturing and the processes there, and quite frankly, I was very impressed. There's a reason that they're the number one safety company, motorsport safety company in the world, and we're very, very proud to be a part of that. And to bring that, the technical side, that side of it to the Impact brand and the Mastercraft brand. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on and let our customers and quite frankly our fans know that for them things aren't really going to change. They're only going to get better. One of the things that excited me the most about this acquisition was the fact that Sparco wanted to not only continue both brands, but wanted to build both brands. Kelly's going to be on her way back to Italy here in a few days to start working on the 2018 catalog for Impact. There will be some new products added that will shore up and help the Impact customers, especially the off-road customers. You know, my heart and soul is and always will be in the desert, and so there's some product lines that they have that we think will complement the Impact brand and also be branded Impact. There's some shoes. There's of course me being the seat guy. There's a seat that I would like to have added to the Impact brand that I think all the off-road racers, short course guys will really love. And so looking forward to that. And then on the Mastercraft side, they're very excited about that, not only from the desert racing side of it, but also from the recreational off-road side, the Jeeps, Broncos, Land Cruiser side, as well as the UTV. They're very excited about our new UTV seat. So just having their horsepower behind us and their technical side will be a huge advantage to us, and we're pretty excited about it. It's like I said, it's a compliment to the hard work that we have done, and the people that are here at Impact, the factory workers, everybody from embroidery to seat frame welding to everybody has been a huge part of bringing Impact to where it is today, and also Mastercraft.
Yeah. Well, and I think something, you'd mentioned in there, and, we'll talk a little bit about the transition here in a minute, but I think one thing that I find really exciting about this is when, you had Mastercraft and you acquired Impact, there wasn't a lot of crossover in products. So it was a really good marriage. And now I look at Mastercraft and Impact and that marriage to Sparco now, and, there's a lot of voids in the Sparco product line that Impact fills, and I think vice versa. So I see this as really a great combination of the two, because I think between the two of you, you can now fill a lot of gaps that both of you had in your particular product lines.
Well, exactly, and there's the segments of motorsports are vary so much. We see growth opportunities in off road, and I don't think anybody would argue that both Mastercraft and Impact are pretty dominant in the off road segment, and that's a growing segment, especially with the UTV and the desert racing. We're seeing that growth. And the other side of the growth that we see is in sports car, and certainly Sparco fits into that category very well. We have different channels and different customer bases, but there's certainly some items, and it was actually pretty evident. We don't think we'll be competing head to head in too many places, and where we do, it'll be the customer's choice, right? So we're really excited about that. But to be able to add some products, some things into the Impact catalog and Mastercraft catalogs. That will be Mastercraft and Impact products to be able to add to that. Plus also, they're very excited. One of the things that they're excited about is our helmet line. We think we make one of the best helmets in the world, and they're very excited about that. So for them to be able to take some of our helmets to their customers, I think is a great advantage to them. Also, they will be manufacturing here, here in Indianapolis. So for their customers that on the IndyCar or NASCAR side, we'll be able to be manufacturing Sparco custom suits here in the U.S., and that's what was a big advantage to them, that customer service. One of the things about the owner, Aldino, and I that have so much in common is it's all about customer service and taking care of the customers, and he's very aware of that, and that's his mantra as well as mine. So it's going to be a good marriage, so to speak.
Well, and I think talking about taking care of the customers, I know one of the big, one of the big things that I'm sure immediately everybody that's reading the press release and hearing this is going is well, what's going to change? Who we're going to call? And from what I understand, I mean, the people that customers have called in the past, whether they're an IndyCar customer or they are a dirt track customer, an off-road customer, you guys are still going to be at the same events. It's going to be the same people. It's going to be the same phone number to call. None of that is changing, right? It's just literally.
Exactly. That's all exactly the same. The people that whether if you're a dealer, you're the same people that you called on Friday, the same people that you're going to call today. Exactly. None of that has changed. So all that will be the same. All the same people will be in place. It's just the ownership has changed, right? Even myself, I'm going to stay on. I've agreed to stay on for at least 2 years and help them with not only the off-road segment, product development, and as well as the military side of the business that they're also excited about. So I'm looking forward to that. I can concentrate on some of those areas and not have to worry about some of the day-to-day minutia that gets in. And sometimes the business of doing business gets in the way of product development and making the business go forward. So I'll have a little bit more time to do that. And for me, on a selfish reasons, I get to spend a little bit more time back in Southern California with my off-road family and friends, and especially in the off season. So we'll be spending some more time there, both Kelly and I. But we're still going to be very much involved with the business, and everybody can still call us just like they've always have.
Yeah. Well, and I think, even the brighter side is, right, this, I know in the past couple of years, business has been, taken over so much that, like you said, you haven't been able to actually go out and race, right? So this kind of opens that door. Hey, we might see Robbie in the trophy truck a little more often.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't convinced him yet that maybe that thing will be painted blue for the Baja 1000 or something, so, as opposed to red. But no, they're excited about they're really excited about the off-road segment, and you know, it's like I said, it's a compliment to us to have them you know, acquire this, and it wouldn't have happened without the trust that our off-road customers have in both the Mastercraft and Impact brand, and that have helped it grow and get to this phase. So we're certainly going to still be a big part of that. But yeah, everybody can still you know, still contact the same contacts they've had before. You know, as much as you want to say nothing's going to change, of course things will change. But we're one of the things that made this possible and very made the decision pretty easy for us was that they're very committed to keeping the Impact brand and the Mastercraft brand and having things continue as they are, just making them better.
Yeah, that's always good news. And I know, you know, this has had, you know, I kind of like to go back and revisit this story, because I know you said you're staying on for 2 years, and you've always just said, I'm just a welder that, you know, that owns these companies. But, you know, it doesn't sound like your business card is changing too soon, but I think it's amazing, this story. I mean, you've got to look back, and this has been a heck of a whirlwind for you, going from making, you know, seat frames for Mastercraft to acquiring the company to acquiring Impact to now selling to Sparco and being on as an advisor. I mean, this has been a whirlwind for you, Robbie.
Yeah, it's not too bad for a welder. Yeah, no, it's exciting. You know, when I bought Mastercraft back in 1999, 2000, I had never owned a product-based company before, but it's really hard to grow up in Southern California and San Diego and not become a part of desert racing or part of off-road racing or the off-road community. It's just where it all comes from. So, you know, to take Mastercraft and develop a seat for Jeeps and off-road and figure out what the racers need and to build their trust and build the company that way. One of the things that really helped was a little bit of aerospace background, and when the military came calling, and we were able to develop a seat for them that worked, and there's 60, 70,000 military vehicles out there with our restraints and seats in them, and that's, you know, I couldn't be more proud of anything than that. But you know, as you have to keep growing, and the opportunity to grow, and we started making fire suits, and the opportunity came up to purchase Impact, and quite frankly, Impact had a little bit of a black eye back then, and so with Kelly's help, who's you know, backgrounds in marketing, and say, hey, do we want to take on this challenge? Can we rebuild this company and change the brand and make it a respectable brand? And absolutely, it was worth the challenge. So that's how we ended up in Indianapolis. And so, you know, with changing the product, improving the quality of the product, including everything in the service, and with her work, we've been able to rebuild the brand and make it a trusted brand again. And so that's been exciting. And then to have Sparco come along. One of the stories I always tell is when I first bought Mastercraft, somebody came to me and asked me, they said, hey, so what do you want to do with Mastercraft? And even back in 2000, I said, well, I'd like for Mastercraft one day to be the equivalent of USA Sparco, right? So I didn't quite get there, but you know, not in the truest sense, but in a way we did. So to have Sparco end up purchasing Mastercraft was a pretty proud day for us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, and before we close out, I really just want to tell you thank you for all the hard work that you've done and you've put into the community of off-road and motorsports in general. I mean, I'm one of the few people that have been able to see the San Diego facilities, see the Indy facilities, see you guys work at off-road. I've been able now to see you work, you know, in the IndyCar, you know, area, and you know, and I know what you've done behind the scenes to try and elevate things, especially in you know, in trophy truck and at the elite levels of desert racing and in short course, you know, and really from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that you and Kelly and all the employees have done to help grow our sport in a positive direction.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's not gonna stop. We're gonna continue to do what we can to help where we can and to continue to make great products. So I appreciate the opportunity, Jamie, to come on and tell our story and to let everybody know that it's going to be okay. That the Impact brand is still going to be there for you. It's just going to get better, and we have some opportunities for Mastercraft and for Sparco.
Well, I appreciate all the time, Robbie. You know, congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing the next chapter of Mastercraft, Impact, and Sparco.
Thank you very much. So are we. It's going to be a fun ride. So thank you very much, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
That was Robbie Pierce from Impact, Mastercraft Safety, and now Sparco. Man, blockbuster news coming out of the motorsports community this morning. Best wishes to them. I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to do nothing but push safety and motorsports even a step further. The merger of two of the top brands in motorsports safety. Amazing news. And just once again, a big thank you to my friend Robbie Pierce and then Kelly Wilmore there at Impact and Mastercraft Safety for everything they've done for the motorsports community and helping push safety and keep it keep it at such an elite level. It's seriously just mind-blowing what they've been able to do behind the scenes to help keep us safe. So best of luck to them. Congratulations. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, wrapping things up. Big thank you to my good friend Robbie Pierce for coming on the show and kind of explaining everything that's going on with that big motorsports news today. I know the press release is out. If you want to read it in full, go to Impact Race Products or Mastercraft Safety's Facebook feed. I know for sure it's at Impact. I'm assuming it's at Mastercraft's too, but it's right there on their Facebook feed, bright and, front and center. I think I retweeted it out on Twitter. If not, I will as soon as the show's over. but you can definitely catch it there. But thanks to him for coming on air and everything they've done. Thanks to Joe Duncan for coming in or calling in, and Jerett Brooks as well. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, next week we are taking the 4th of July week off from the live national show. You listen to national syndication, we'll have a best of. But if you want more Down and Dirty Radio Show, don't forget, we will be coming at you live July 10th and 11th that weekend from Mount Washington in the Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb. I'll be hanging out with my boys at Subaru Rally Team USA, and we will be doing some interviews with Travis Pastrana, David Higgins, and full coverage of the event here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show network. So tune in anywhere you listen to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and we'll have that coming at you. And don't forget, this week, Project Action on Podcast One. Matt Martelli is on air. Make sure and rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, and you can tune in on Podcast One or at my website, downanddirtyshow.com. And we'll have podcasts pumped out on a regular basis, even though we're taking the national show off next week. But don't forget, once again, Mount Washington, the 10th and 11th, we'll bringing you full coverage. Big thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF for all your transportation needs, Optimus Starters, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino for all their support. Thanks to all you guys for all your support of both of my shows. And don't forget, use that coupon code JBDirtfish for 15% off any class at Dirtfish Rally School. And, you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter or Facebook, it's at JimBeaver15. My co-host, who is only partially on today, it's at AmyHood71 if you want to give her a follow as well. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in. We'll be back, not next week, but in 2 weeks, and we'll be coming at you from the Mount Washington Hill Climb, Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb, here in about a week and a half. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Be safe. As always, game on.